Pinevale was quite a school.
Our parents raised us to live in a two-system society. Okay, we realized that there were certain things we couldn't do. There were certain things we could do.
Certain places you didn't go and certain things that you didn't do because you knew what the consequences would be.
Mama and Daddy did their best, their level best to shield us from as much of that as they could.
This school was the heartbeat of this community.
I grew up with my teachers knowing my parents.
They knew my grandfather, they knew my mother and my father.
If anything was out of line, my mother would know about it before I got home after school.
Hey, we knew every teacher.
And they were like family.
They were our parents. When we were not, if we needed something and they had it, they would sacrifice and get it for us.
They would. We had someone do anything in their power to help us succeed.
Mr. Hall did everything. I can tell you he worked tirelessly between the two schools, Pinevale and Southeast, to make things work for the students and the parents.
When they saw something out of the ordinary, they sat us down and talked to us like we were their children.
We were going to represent them when we got out, when we went to college, when we went to the military, when we went to into the workforce, wherever we went.
So they wanted us to be more prepared than they were.
They took it personally.
It was caring and compassion from the teachers, and they treated all the students that way. There was no option for us to fail.
When you walked in Pinevale, you were the top of the line. You were the best of the best.
That's how I got to understand what it takes a village was all about. And it really does take a village.
We talk about it takes a village. Well, this was the village.
It was almost like school didn't even turn out because we had practices and what have you. And everybody, if they didn't participate, they still came back to the campus.
All the good times we had there in that gym, you had the pen rallies. We used to have bonfires.
So up until about 7 or 8 o'clock at night, we were still here at this school doing something. The challenge was great for people to get here on time, even in the rain, because they had to walk.
Walk 2.5 miles every day.
It was about 3 miles one way for me.
And this is walking from the west side of Valdosta to the south side of Valdosta.
Nobody struggled in. Mr. Hall was standing right there at the front door.
Of course, the white kids had buses, but we had to walk.
There was no equality, separate but equal. No,
It was supposed to be separate but equal, but it wasn't.
Separation part existed, but the equal part never existed.
All we wanted was for Pinevale to have the same thing that Valdosta had. That's all we wanted.
We knew that the whites got the best of everything, and we had to take whatever we could get.
When it would rain, we had to walk in the mud and the water to get into the school. And at Valdosta, they didn't have that problem. Their parking lot was paved.
We would get secondhand books.
And we realized that by looking at some of the texts and when they were copyrighted.
They used to send over old equipment, old books. They'd load them up on the back of a truck, and then they would bring them over, and then they would push them off on the ground, and we would take them and tape them together, and that material, we didn't realize it at the time, but that material was obsolete by the time we got it.
We had to teach it. We just didn't have the equipment the teachers needed to teach us. Because that's all they needed was the equipment. They give us the equipment, then we would have been happy.
Yes, they was getting new books and passing us the old books and new uniforms for the football team, and we had to suffer with what we had.
Shoulder pads. We had all the secondary stuff. I remember when we went to camp. They went to camp down in Lake Forest, which was a facility. Our camp was right here in this gym, and we got our bedding from Moody for the air base.
For instance, helmets. We played with at Pinevale. We played with the same helmets throughout our high school days. Valdosta would get new equipment in every year.
We had good transportation. The high school football team had good buses and things to take them where they needed to go. But we had our little football team, and the ride on 10, we called it 10 Lizzie. It was an old used county bus.
Stadium, the condition paled compared to Cleveland Field, Valdosta High,
The players at Valdosta High can go back and look at old film. We can't do that because we didn't have the funds for that.
What they fail to understand is that we didn't have a problem with being separate. Our problem came with not being equal.
We had been told our junior year at Pinevale High that would be our last year there.
About a month before it was due for school to start, we learned that the school system was going to be integrated.
We were forced to close the doors because we were one of those states or cities that just refused to integrate.
Pursuant to a federal court order, we would join forces with the students at Valdosta High School.
They had to integrate whether they wanted to or not.
Pinevale held out for a very long time.
Would we rather have separate but equal or integration? That came up. It's a mixed feeling.